Hi there. Okay, this is a quick video in relation to a request from the request sections in dropcage.com. It's how to use Kontakt and how to set it up as a drum machine. So the first thing, use the Kontakt 16 out. And we'll just create a MIDI channel. Now, what we need to do is set up the outputs first. So if you click on outputs, as you can see, I've got mine set up here. Stereo 1, mono out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 and 8. Now, you don't have to do it like that. However, it's the way I like to do it. So, the easiest way is if I just show you. We'll just delete all of these. Well, I'm not going to delete them all. I'll delete a couple and show you how to do it. So right, to add a channel, you just say add a channel. You tell how many channels you want and how many number of channels you want that channel to have. Now, I'm just going to tell it 1 because I want it to be mono. And you can connect it straight away to one of the monos. In this case, it's going to be 7. So I'll just OK. Then we have mono 7 connected. And it's assigned that to plug in number 8, even though it's mono 7, because we've got a stereo 1, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So add a channel. We only want one channel. And that'll be mono 8, which will assign that to 9. So once you've got your channels, you've added all the channels that you need. If we come in here and we just assign them to what we want. So this is mono 2. OK that. Mono 4. OK that. Now why did it do that? Has it put that? Mono 4 is number 5. Was it mono 4? It's mono 3 we want, isn't it? Then mono 4. Then mono 5, etc. Until you've got it set up the way you want. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, now the reason we do that is so that we can have samples triggering on different channels and the output. Now if I just close Kontakt, as you can see, there is only the one output at the moment. I'll just oh yeah, I've still got Omnisphere on there. Let me just get rid of Omnisphere. That might be confusing you. Right, so there's the one channel. Now to get the other ones, you need to click on this little activation arrow here. So as you can see, I now have my channels, which are the same as this. So stereo 1, mono 2 is mono 2, mono 3 is mono 3, 4, etc, etc. Now, in Cubase, what you would now do is create a folder track. Call that folder drums, and then just drop your channel, your tracks in there. Now I'm going to need another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so another 7. So add MIDI tracks, 7. Add tracks. So there we go. So that's assigned to Kontakt 1. This would be Kontakt 2. As you can see, it's the MIDI channels are already assigned. So now each of these channels are directly related to the channels in Kontakt. Okay, so now in Kontakt I'm just going to assign, I'm just going to create the separate instruments to assign to these channels. So we need to set to assign 8, so new instrument, new instrument, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll just get rid of the mixer for the time being. So we now have our 8 instruments. We have our 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tracks. So now what you would do is, the first one is the stereo 1. Which is this one. The next one you want to change to MO2. The next one to MO3. And so on. So MO4, MO5. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, MO5. Why did that go 4? MO5. No. 5, 6, 7, 8. So we now have them all assigned to these. So if I press the keyboard if I select channel 1 here, track 1, you'll see the MIDI in there. If we go to the next one, you'll see the MIDI in there. Next one, MIDI in there, and so on. So we'll just hide this again. So now this is where you load your samples. So say you want the first one to be kick drum. You would go to your samples, find your kick drum. Let's say it's that one. Now, you click on the wee spanner, go to mapping editor, and there's your mapping editor. Now what you can do is, you can drag it in and have it on one note, or you can have it mapped out right across the keyboard. Now that's useful if you want to do things like different pitches. However, I normally just set it up my kick drum on C1 and then work from that. So now my kick drum's on C1. So if I play my keyboard, that was C1 on my keyboard, triggering C1 the kick. So say you want the next one to be a snare. We'll go and find the snare. Should have a snare in here somewhere. Okay, so there's a snare. Do the same thing. Mapping editor. But in this time, I'm going to put it on C sharp 1. So we'll come down to here, change that to snare. Oh. And play C1 on my keyboard whilst on that track. And so on and so forth until you've got your drum kit set up. Okay, so once you've got all of that set up, you should have something that looks like this. You've got your folder track, drums, your kick snare, there's all your channels. There's your channels in Cubase, so if we come to kick, it will play the kick on that one, snare on that one, open hi-hat, closed hi-hat, crash, reverse crash, percussion 1, percussion 2. So now what you can do is start drawing in your drum loops. So you can just and if you really want to be fancy, you can give them all a different colour. Just helps you know what's what, really. So there you go. So now if I bring this down, I can build a drum loop. So I'll just build something quickly. So remember, kick was on C1. So there's my kick drum. Oh. Same with the snare. The snare should be on C sharp 1. Pop the snare in there. And as you can see, they've both got their own channels, and really all you do really is just go through and draw your drum loop in. Until you've got a loop that you like. Okay, so once you've got all your drums in, you've then got a drum loop. Forgive me, it's not as if it's the best drum loop in the world. Now, the benefit of doing it like this is that you can now add effects separately on each channel, whether it be inserts like this or send effects. It's up to you. And you can also control each drum separately. So we do a quick mix. And there you have it. A basic drum machine in Kontakt. Now, a couple of things I'll just show you, just so you are aware. See this here? Now, if I solo the kick drum, it's the root note. If I move that, it's changing the pitch. It's changing the root note of the sample. If I move that, it's not going to play because it's on the wrong. It's on the wrong note. When it's like this, gives you different pitches. But that's your basic drum loop in Kontakt. Drum machine in Kontakt. Okay, just before I go, there is another way you can do it. If you don't like doing your drums like that, you can do them all on the one channel. So let me just add all of these onto that one channel. Okay, so now if I have a look, I just need to glue them all together. Right. So now we've got this one drum loop pattern here. If I press play, there we go. Wait a minute, we can only hear the kick. Why is that? Simply because, remember, this is on channel 1, MIDI channel 1, where the rest have been assigned to MIDI channel 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I change the snare to channel 1, you can see they're still coming into their own channels, and the reason that's happening is because of the way we set up the mixer. So if I come in here and change this to MIDI channel 1, and as you'll see, so it really does depend on how you like making your drums, really. Personally, I prefer to have them all on their own channel, but that's just me. You may find it easier to program drums when it's like this, because you can see the holes, you can add a little extra whatever. But if I just put that back to the way I like it, right. Now, one of the last things you should do is, well, there's a couple of things you can do. You can go to File, Save Multi as whatever you want, so we'll call that a Kontakt Basic Drum Machine. Save. And you can also set it as your default. So set it as a default multi. So whenever you open your multi, it will be set to this, which is something I'd advise you to do, if that's the way you want it. Now let me just show you. So if I go File, Reset Multi, okay. Now, as you can see, if you would have told it to save as default, this is how it would open up. In fact, let me just show you if I go F11, no VST. Right, so all of that's irrelevant. So we come back to our Kontakt. We don't want to create something, we've already got it there, which is what we're after. So as you can see, it's already set up. And then if I go Files, Load, Kontakt Basic Drum Machine, Open, Replace the Multi. Yes, we want to replace the multi. We don't want to merge. So there we have it. As you can see, it's opened up again with the same names, the same kick drum. So what you can use that for, obviously what you need to do now is again go through this and reset everything up. But what that is good for is giving you a quick basic starting point. So you know you've got some decent drums in there, so you can go in and restart it, restart your track, or start a new track, sorry, and have everything, have a set of drums there that you can get a groove with straight away. Now that, I'm not saying use the same drums for every track, but what it does is gives you a quick way of getting a rhythm together. Then you can change the drums. Of course you can add more drums, whatever. Got a problem there, what's going on now? Kick, snare, open hi-hat. No, open a hi-hat. Because that should be on 3. Now another thing you can do in Cubase, what you can do is go File, Save as Template, and then you could call it Basic Drum Setup. Okay, so we'll just close that. Don't save it, we don't need it. So now when you come File, New Project, and you've got all your bits and bobs, if you go to More, you'll see there, Create, there you go. Seems like there's 2, I must have made 2. Okay, don't know why that happened. But there you basically have a drum machine with a basic drum loop already made, so it saves you time, you know. And of course, because it's MIDI, if you're used to working at whatever tempo, so it's really up to you. Anyway, I hope that helps, and it's perfectly understandable. Any questions, just let me know on the forum. Cheers.